to Coffee and a Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District 23 Senate 2020. A father, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart recipient, with a bachelor's degree in information technology software engineering. CJ is a podcast producer and host. Please check out our social media pages for more information. If you would like to join this broadcast, click the link in the description to join. Coffee and a Conversation starts now. Have a good day or don't, the choice is always yours.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy CJ, the Internet Warlord, coming to you live and loud from the great state of Meth Dakota. You know Meth Dakota. I'm just going to leave it at that this morning. You already know it. If you're watching what I'm doing, you already know. And you go, Meth Dakota? What do you mean, Meth Dakota? I mean exactly what I mean. So, today's experiment is going to be a fun one. I'm going to show you guys here in just a moment that I'm going to go like this. I'm going to turn this on. Make sure it's cleared out. Okay. I got a little low oxygen as it is right now. 96, huh? Like I could do some breathing or something. All right. You guys see that? 96 with a 92. Let's go ahead and just write that down. Now, I didn't want to put this in the title because I thought it'd be too clickbaity. All right. 96, 92 is the base. And I'm sure I'm going to have to talk just a little bit louder today because this is gay as shit. But we're going to test this after just my broadcast here. Just me talking as I normally do. And, yeah. They've already been shown that because I have facial hair, because I've got these, there's like, you can feel the moisture already right here in my nose, or on my nose. This isn't like anything that's protecting air from leaving where out there. At best, I'll give it spittle, which is different because if you want me to stop spittle, I'll wear my own mask. Thank you very much. But, let's see here. Let's see if it, let's see, I started this at 8:31. So, and again, I don't expect there to be any initial changes to my oxygen. So, oh, now I'm at a 98. Is this giving me more oxygen? I don't know. Maybe my first reading was off. Either way, I'll write that down. Well, it says 97 there, so. But we'll see what it does. We're gonna test this out together while I do my normal daily broadcast and see if this affects my oxygen levels as many people are claiming it will, and we're just going to put it to the test right away. So, as always, if you want to click this, if you want to join this broadcast, it's going to make it harder for me to drink some coffee, though. So, and eat a donut while I talk about cops. But it's a small sacrifice to make today in order to do this little experiment that I promised we would do. So again, oh no, did I forget the link again before pushing live? I did. I forgot the link again. This seems to be a problem of mine. I feel like we need a way to punish me for doing this. You know, like, CJ, you can't talk shit on the internet without posting a link for people to call in and agree or disagree with you. And it says click the lick. Wow. Oh, I love it. Click the lick in the description. Oh, that is so epic. I don't care what anybody says. That is just fucking hilarious. All right. So, we're going to talk about some things today. Click the link in the description. Woo! Man, we're getting feisty this morning, folks. Feisty. All right. So that's the links in there. I don't think it's going to let me do it on YouTube again. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry. I failed you again. I failed you again. All right. Now, yep. Sorry, YouTube. If you want to join this broadcast, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to join on Facebook. Facebook, you just need to go refresh the link, and it will be there. So that is that. So, man, I really wish I had a way to drink my coffee right now. I should have drank more coffee before doing this. That's a fact. So, all right. We're going to start with our first story again. If you want to join the broadcast at any point, there is a link. Just refresh the page and join the broadcast that way. I can already tell you that this is making my eyes water, and it's not making me comfortable at all. At all. First story today, as always, South Dakota comes first, so it's just the way of the world. South Dakota, Sioux President, Julian Bear Runner, our favorite Sioux president. A president of a sovereign nation that borders this thing we call the United States, I guess. For some reason, there's been some controversy here as of late, but the president here calls for removal of Mount Rushmore. Now, a lot of people are gonna get like, "Oh my gosh!" And this is by Bradley Courtright. Now, again, this is gonna be controversial. But I personally think that the government has already mismanaged and misappropriated United States Treasury funds when dealing with the treaties of our native tribes. And therefore, the treaties should be considered null and void. They should be considered, dead on arrival, that we don't actually have any claims to what these treaties established because we on our end have not upheld. And when I say we, I don't mean in a belonging sense like I, CJ Abernathy, along with the government, decided to go and violate the sovereignty and the fiduciary obligations of the tribes here. I'm saying the state government is violating the rights of the treaties that were established, the agreements in those treaties. And so when you see a call for, like you see here, and you go, well, the president calls for the removal of Mount Rushmore, you go, oh no, not my beloved mountain that the government, stole. No, not my mountain of presidents. Now listen, it is no secret that Donald J. Trump wants to be on this mountain. I've already heard it. You see right here, there's a little hair right there. Well, actually, he actually wants this spot right here. He wants, like, the prime location. Like, I'd consider, like, if you're going to be the first modern president carved into Mount Rushmore, he wants it to be right here. I don't think that Donald J. Trump is worthy of his face on a mountain. I don't agree. But, again, just dumb. One of the most famous monuments in America is now facing calls for its removal. Oglala Sioux president Julian Bear Runner says The land where Mount Rushmore is situated belongs Great Sioux is situated belongs to it should be belongs to Great Sioux Reservation, not the United States. Ooh, they're doing a land claim. Julian Bear Runner says the monument to 4 American presidents should be removed, saying, quote, I don't believe it should be blown up. Oh, come on, man. Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President. With all due respect, sir. Hi, CJ Abernathy. I ran for governor in 2018. If the tribes would have got behind me instead of playing plantation politics, you would already have Mount Rushmore back, and you wouldn't be writing an article about this. This wouldn't be an issue. If you would have supported my campaign and not stayed on the Democratic plantation, then you would be off the reservation and reclaiming the land that the United States government has violated the treaty rights and holds in trust. You would have had that right now. Now, I would have called for blowing the thing up, personally speaking. I'm a combat engineer from the Marine Corps days. Like, I love blowing stuff up. That is, like, literally the job title. Like, when my recruiter said, I'm a 1371 combat engineer, I said, what does that mean? And he says, that means I blow stuff up. And I say stuff because, obvious reasons. Now, but I understand your reasoning and logic. I just like to blow stuff up. That's just who I am as a person. But you do say it would cause more damage to the land. I understand, sir. I understand. But blowing it up in my mind would be sentimentally fun. Moving on, he said, removed but not blown up, Bear Runner specified. He added that Sioux leaders were not consulted before Mount Rushmore was sculpted and said, quote, to me, it's a great sign of disrespect. Now, see, here's the thing. It's not on South Dakota land. It's a federal piece of land, which means it is held in trust by the treaties, and the United States government holds those lands in trust only because it performs its proper fiduciary obligation to the tribes through the United States Treasury. See how many times I've touched my mask here, and I'm like, man, I don't know, man. We'll do a break here in a minute, and we'll check my levels. All right, for decades, Native American tribes have pushed for the removal of Mount Rushmore, which is located in what they consider sacred territory. In a recent years, stories have revealed that Gutsun Borglum, Mount Rushmore's sculptor, has ties to the KKK and white supremacy. Bear Runner's comments come roughly a week before President Donald Trump is scheduled to travel to Mount Rushmore. Yes, the Orange Messiah will grace South Dakota with its presence. And hey, you know what? I'll bet you Kristi Noem's like, hey, Donald, can I sell access to you? Can I sell access to you like I did when I was running for governor? Because selling access to the President of the United States is just something we do. And Donald's be like, got you, fam. $500 a ticket, let's go. And then you wonder why a third-party candidate's like, hi, they're literally selling access to the President of the United States, making hand over fist, and I'm sitting here like, hey guys, thanks for that $5, Tim. I'm gonna change the system, bro. But I do appreciate it, Tim, nonetheless. So, his comments also came as protesters have called for the removal of statues as protests calling for racial justice erupted around the country. In several states, the Confederate figures in Christopher Columbus have been defaced and torn down. And in recent days, protesters have targeted statues of President George Washington and Ulysses S. Grant. Washington, D.C.'s delegate to the House of Representatives, Eleanor Norton Holmes, announced plans to introduce legislation to remove a statue of former President Abraham Lincoln. Two conservative commentators Ben Shapiro weighed in on the removal or vandalism of the statue, and Twitter asked, so when is woke historical revisionist priesthood going to insist blowing up Mount Rushmore and South Dakota's Queen of Meth herself, Governor Kristi Noem, the state where Mount Rushmore is located? Shapiro shared Shapiro's tweet and said, not on my watch. Now listen, I think this is just some dumb Republican, like, I got you, homie, kind of moment too. Like, I don't know. I think that's a really dumb statement to make, but again, to the president, listen, Julian Bear Runner, sir, with all due respect, I might be an eccentric guy, but I am the only guy running for the top position in this state that's literally saying if you would have just helped support this guy, you wouldn't be writing articles about what you think should be happening. You wouldn't be fighting me. You wouldn't be fighting me. You're fighting Kristi Noem and you're fighting the government. Because I protect people's rights and interests, not state and corporate privileges and interests. So there's a big difference between keep voting for plantation politics or voting for your own freedom and the return and restoration of your lands. I can see it from clear as day that the Constitution and the treaties both have been violated left and right, front and center, up and down, backwards, forwards, since before you and I were even alive. And it's been the same complaints nonstop, left and right, from our parents and our grandparents and on both sides from generations. We are equity slaves. We are debtor slaves to the government, and your forefathers and my forefathers sold us out. Make no mistake about it. They sold us out. So I see an article like this and I go, man, if you guys just would have supported me, you might be off the plantation by now. You might actually be able to reclaim your land and to put there or restore it to the best you can to get these faces off it. Two of these people owned slaves. All four of them would be considered convicted felons if they lived in South Dakota today under Queen Noem. So what I don't understand, and what just blows my mind in the dumbest sense of the word, is how is it Kristi Noem saying we need to protect our history? These are people that shot people in government, divided a nation, owned slaves. I mean, what more do you need? All of them used hemp and CBD and THC. All of them. How are you saying we need to protect this monument? This is if anything, as somebody who's a real studier of history, this is a monument to how to abolish your government. Teddy Roosevelt ran as a third party. Abraham Lincoln ran as a third party. Thomas Jefferson. Like, look at the history of what you're putting on this mountain. Fundamental shifts and changes where people involved were willing to kill those in the current form of government. What the fuck are you protecting? What history are you protecting, Kristi? I want to really know what you think this mountain represents. Because it doesn't mean to me, or I'm not speaking on behalf of, but assuming President Julian Bear Runner and his people, our people, real people, people, we see something completely different. So what the fuck are you actually protecting? You violate tribal sovereignty all day long, Kristi. But, hey, stupid choices have stupid results, and when you continue, Mr. President, to play plantation politics, a slave you will remain. on your reservation. So, that is all I got for South Dakota today. Good morning to Mr. Dombrowski. Good morning, sir. OD Dub. Good morning. So for those that are watching me going, CJ, are you a fucking sheep? I'm going to be like, no, dude, we're doing science. We're doing science. So 97, 98 was where I started. Just after one news story, let's see where I'm at. Just one news story. Let's see if it goes down any much. Nope, 99. Is my oxygen going up because I'm breathing more? Is my oxygen going up because I'm breathing like, ah, 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 ah! You know? Oh, it dipped down there to 98. So, continuing on again, hey, if you want to join the broadcast, link is in the description on Facebook, and we will go from there. So, moving on to the fun story of the day, because this triggers so many people. This is probably the number one triggering article, newsworthy content that there is out there at the moment, other than the Bubba Wallace thing, which we can get into that too. So, quote from Insider.com, map shows which states have the most calls to boycott the NFL after the league's newfound support for kneeling players. And I will say, wearing this thing, I do feel like I gotta go to actually breathe more. Like, I do feel like I have to put effort into breathing. So I can't just, calmly breathe. At some point, it just feels like I'm being, it feels like, I'm just saying it feels like. So, map shows which states are most to have the most calls to boycott the NFL after league's newfound support for kneeling players. Now, say what you will about Colin Kaepernick, this man has everybody talking. Whether you love the guy or hate the guy, you know the guy, and I think that's the point because, as we say, well, haters gonna hate and taters gonna tate. But this guy has literally sacrificed his career, sacrificed his livelihood. He could have just been a guy that throws a pig skin and just keeps his mouth shut and you perform on Sunday, monkeys, and maybe Thursday and Monday when every so often. Yeah, OD Dub, I see that real quick. But I think that's coming from me breathing more I just woke up before doing this. Put the mask on first thing. So I'm going to say that first test is me not having full breaths in. So I expect there to be an up in this because I'm going to take in more oxygen as I'm breathing. And so, but we're going to see what it does throughout the whole thing. And again, I know this looks stupid. I think it's fucking stupid. But this is an experiment. And that's all this is, an experiment. So yeah, people hate this guy, and it's clear because it used to be, this is what my friends list used to be, just making fun of Colin Kaepernick all football season while they sit there and they watch their favorite football team. Now, since he's getting a legitimate chance at coming back to the NFL, now people are getting all butthurt and mad. Like, well, I ain't gonna watch the game no more. And these are the same idiots that don't know, U.S. Title 4 USC section 8. Title 4 8 USC section C. Excuse me. They don't know that. They don't know that code. They think, oh, disrespect because the TV told me it was. But really, as they're watching the national anthem and that flag's being brought out horizontal to the deck, it violates section C of the actual title called for disrespect, where you will not find kneeling as a sign of disrespect to the flag. So, I want to just see the map. It says there's a map in here. That's all I want to see is the map. Oh, here are the top 10 for boycotts. Here we go. We'll just go to the top 10. I guess there's... Oh, there we go. Well, we'll go to the top 10 first. Ugh. This thing sucks. I absolutely... I refuse to wear this in public. I refuse. Anyways, Mississippi, Florida, Iowa, Missouri, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Texas, Maine, and Indiana. And here's the map right here showing all the whiny little bitch states in the United States who are like, I ain't gonna watch the Magic football game if I can't watch it. So most likely to boycott is darker, least likely is lighter. South Dakota's like, we don't give a fuck. We'll watch football either way. I mean, less than 1 million people. Dude, I'm telling you, it's making my nose start to drip into here, and they're only 20 minutes in. North Dakota, a little bit of bigotry in there. A little bit of racism in there, I'm assuming. Definitely down in the South, a bunch of little racists running around there going, oh, black man should have kneeled for our magic sky cloth. Uh-oh. Bad slave, get back in line, monkey. That's what they're literally thinking to themselves. Go back and play in the games. So, I'm gonna tell you what. If Colin Kaepernick gets signed to the football, to the NFL again, I would be apt to maybe watch a game or two. And again, I didn't leave watching football because Colin Kaepernick wasn't getting treated a way or another. I just left watching football because the game started to fucking suck. And you just realize, like, I'm losing so much time in a day just dedicating it to watching a TV on a game that, you know, like, I just didn't care to watch it anymore. And I mean, don't get me wrong, parts of me are like, maybe I could get back into watching it. I enjoy football like anybody else. I was a football fan as a kid. So, you go, okay, well, would you watch it again if Colin Kaepernick joined? I'd be more apt to, just because it'd be interesting to see. And again, I can understand if people don't watch football and have no interest in it, but to me, like I said, I was a lifelong fan. I would start watching football again if Colin Kaepernick got signed to the Seattle Seahawks. Not only would I start watching again, I would buy Colin Kaepernick's jersey just because I know it would trigger many people on the other end of this screen that are whiny little bitches who call Democrats snowflakes. They'll be the first to line up and say, snowflake! And then you put on a Colin Kaepernick jersey, and now all of a sudden they turn into what? Snowflakes. It's just amazing how that works. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the logic and the reasoning. It's like they're like, we got thick skin until you hurt our feelings. And it's like, I don't know. But here's your map of racism currently, as Insider has declared it. So that's your Colin Kaepernick news for the day. We do have things to get into. Like my next story, I would be eating a donut. I had a donut ready to go, but we're doing an experiment. And let's see here. Tiffany asks, and this is a great time to bring this up. So, are you wearing the mask as a joke? And it's the Tiffany, thanks for asking. I've got an oxygen reader here, and we're doing a public test on my oxygen levels while doing my normal daily broadcast. And as much as it's been uncomfortable and terrible for me, 90, 97, 98, I'm still, I think my heart rate might be going up because I get a little excited in what I'm doing here. And so, at the end of the day, we're just testing it out. We're going to see if this lowers my oxygen levels. Whoa, did my heart just go from 100 to 80? Live? Ooh, that's some Goose Fraba shit right there, man. That's some Goose Fraba shit right there. We're going to measure this at the end, though, and see what it is. So, thanks for asking, Tiffany. This isn't a joke. This is for science. And I'm just giving my reports. I haven't worn this thing at all, other than as the one time on Sunday, just to show what it is. But it feels like this belongs where a loincloth would go, or a nut cup. And I it's uncomfortable. It's already itching my beard. It's not fun. So, on to our next bit of news we're covering today. will be out of Minnesota. Police union boss Bob Kroll tells podcasts how to defeat civilian review. Minneapolis Police Federation president Lieutenant Bob Kroll criticized civilian oversight of police. Now listen, when I say police hate accountability, I'm saying most police hate accountability. Most police don't want you watching what they do 24/7 at 365 in their line of work when they're on the clock. I think that the president here coming out and saying how to defeat civilian review is a really a testament to the simple fact that police from the top echelons up are the problem. It's probably not the foot soldiers. It's not the foot soldier, police that join and they're a few years on the force and they're like, "Hey man, I want to be a person that's helping my community." It's the guys that are making the money, that are shaking the hands of the president, that are in that sphere of influence, that are causing these, chaotic times we're living in to happen. Make no mistake about it. Now, this is like, as we listen back to the interview I had yesterday with an awesome gentleman by the name of Mike Gilligan, he said every cop has complaints, throughout their career, and Bob Kroll is no different. I've had 54 complaints filed against me over my 31 years, and I'm still here. I'm still lieutenant. I've been disciplined, but none of these have ever been upheld. I've been sued 11 times, Kroll said. Holy shit. So, in 31 years, 54 complaints, that's almost 2 complaints per year, almost. And he's been sued 11 times. I mean, it makes you go, what the fuck, man? The podcast released just 2 months before the police killing of George Floyd, just 2 months before, illustrates Kroll's shrewd political instincts, which critics say he's used over the years to slow and obstruct reform. Kroll encouraged officers to build relationships with local politicians on both sides of the aisle. Getting involved in politics is an effective way to shut these things down before they start, he said, referring to aggressive civilian police oversight. The episode also featured Tulsa Police Department Mayor Travis Yates, who is under investigation by the department for comments on a June radio show about race and police shootings. Yates has said systemic racism and criminal justice doesn't exist, and said on the radio show, quote, "Research says police are shooting African Americans about 24% less than we probably ought to be based on crimes being committed." Kroll and Yates have worked together before. Last year, Minneapolis Police Federation formed a partnership with the organization Law Officer, where Yates is the training director, to provide free, quote, warrior-style training for union members after Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey banned it. In Yates' introduction on the podcast, he called Kroll his hero and said that he, quote, may even have a little bit of a man crush on him. Now, it's insane to me how a lot of these pieces of shit know each other, too. And the ultimate accountability comes down to we the people. The ultimate accountability comes down to it comes down to the public should be aware of what officers are doing. Because if you don't have accountability, you don't have things that like are able to show what happens when law enforcement are disciplined. Excuse me, man. This mask sucks fucking balls. Put it to you that way. DailyMail.com, up to 12 injured as Detroit police car charges into crowd of screaming protesters before speeding away with demonstrators still clinging to the hood. Oh, and I'm sure that's just one complaint and maybe one lawsuit out of his entire career, whoever this person is. Witnesses said car hit 10 to 12 protesters as it went forward, trapping man on hood. In the clip, one man manages to roll out of the way of the car's encroaching wheels. One witness who shared clip dubbed it reckless and a, quote, clear act of aggression. And, I kind of watched something like this. They got a marching band out there. Now, if you ask me, that cop should be executed. Right where he stands, pull him out of the car and blow his fucking brains out. You've got 12 people there that all just witnessed attempted vehicular manslaughter. Pull him out of the fucking vehicle and record you shooting him in the back of the head. You've got a jury right there. I don't understand why these people aren't bringing guns. I swear to God, if I ever go out into a protest where police are acting like this, I'm bringing my fucking gun concealed. Bet your ass for sure. It blows my mind that and this happened in New York too. We watched the videos of law enforcement officers driving into crowds in New York. And then you see that and you go, this is why the Second Amendment exists. These are the blue coats. These are literally nothing more than today's modern red coat. They are the blue coats. We have to start thinking of law enforcement as the enemy. The foot soldiers of a government that writes the laws that they choose in their profession to sign up and go enforce. And they get to just drive into crowds with immunity? Really? Really? So, that blows my mind that they just let him just drive into him. I would have pulled out a gun, I would have fucking shot him. That's attempted vehicular manslaughter. If somebody's coming at you with a car and you go and you bang, 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 bang and shoot them dead, and it's all on video, the attempted vehicular manslaughter and your right to defend yourself. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying here, folks? These are still people. They're not above the law. If an officer is trying to kill you or harm you in any way to that fashion where if you did that to a crowd of people, it would be attempted vehicular manslaughter. Or actually, it might be attempted vehicular homicide, to be honest. I don't get why people aren't shooting the cops. I really don't. This is the one disconnect where I'm like, how are these cops still alive? It makes no sense to me. If you're an officer and your first initial response is, I better drive fucking forward into people, you shouldn't have fucking been in that fucking position to begin with. That's like somebody going on to my comments on my video and going, your video offended me, CJ. Well, then don't fucking watch it. But you go into the fucking officers, you as an officer drive into a fucking protest and then hit the fucking gas? Really? I just witnessed attempted vehicular homicide by an officer. Do what you will with that one. And you can tell with the police being abolished in Minneapolis, what's going to happen? Well, private police. Minneapolis spends thousands on private security for city councilmen amid calls to defund the police. Really. See, why can't we get an officer like we watched yesterday? The one that's like, nah, man, I understand your rights. You can film me, this, that, and the other. Like, giving them, like, hey, man, you know your rights. Why can't we have all those? Like, why can't that be the standard of what we expect from law enforcement? Why? Why can't that be the standard? It should be the standard. It should be the standard that that's the way that people are treated. When you look at something like this, I just see a standing army disguised as police. I see the blue coats disguised as police. And 99% of them are too dumb to realize they're the blue coats. 99% of them are too dumb to realize that they are a foreign occupying army. 99% of them. Too dumb. Maybe you have one in there that's like, dude, this is totally not constitutional, dude. This is bruh. Hey, you guys. My people. This is kind of what the founding fathers said or would look like a standing army. And what do? We're going to privatize this for government. And where do you think that money comes from? Where do you think it comes from? I'll wait. I will wait. Because at the end of the day, the taxpayers are still on the hook. This thing fucking sucks, you guys. The one is that guy, I think his name was Nguyen. I don't know how to say that. Yeah. I don't, you know, I used to know how to say that, but it slips my brain here for now. Why are we hiring all these sissy ass police officers? Because they are pumping them out of the police academies, saying, hey, come on, come serve your community. And really, all it is a government foreign to the Constitution creating a standing army for their private security. That's all it is. That's literally all it is, folks. The blue coats are coming. Now, where does this all lead to? Because where does the buck actually stop? Oh, one last cop story here before we get into where the buck stops. Again, I'd be eating a donut through all of this if I wasn't wearing the mask. And it's not a long video. It's just a video of police being above the law. Here you see, there's clear signs that say we deliver, and take out only, no mask, no entry. And here you see there's one mask, no mask, no mask. Literally with the sign right there. No mask, no entry, with the sign right there. Workers using masks, officers all the way up. Only one officer wearing a mask. These are the people that are about to fine you for not wearing a mask. Up to and including take your life with immunity. And they get to do this because they are above the law. The blue coats are above the law. Make no mistake about it. At least in their minds. Which is why, again, I wonder why there are not more dead cops in America. Moving on. The 3 stimulus plans Congress is debating that could put an extra cash in your pocket. We're going to take more out in national debt and give you a sliver of it and then call it a stimulus plan. This is nothing more than a bullshit scam. And again, it's a sign of a dying dollar. It literally is the sign of a dying dollar. And it sucks that people are too stupid to realize it. Oh, this is some bullshit, dude. I'm telling you. So the meat and potatoes here, and the gist of the story, it's really short. It says Congress is expected. Oh shit. Congress is expected to debate another economic relief package next month, and lawmakers are starting to roll out their ideas for what direction it should take. So far, Congress and President Donald Trump have approved over $3 trillion in emergency spending to confront the coronavirus pandemic and manage its economic fallout. And that in there is the key phrase to take from all of this. It is the government creating the problem and manufacturing the solution. Nothing more, nothing less. My God, this is ridiculous. Oh, my God. So for individuals, it had 2 pillars. It goes back into that. So just keep in mind that they're kicking around what they want to do. I've heard tax credit. I've heard travel voucher credit. I've heard all kinds of dumb things. But ultimately, as I was trying to say, this comes back down to one man, where the buck stops. White couple aims guns at St. Louis protesters. Now, I'm all for people to have the right to keep and bear arms, but I also in the Marine Corps learned a little ditty called Treat, Never Keep, Keep. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Keep your finger straighten off the trigger till you're ready to fire. Keep your weapon on safe until you're ready to fire. And so when you aim and point your gun, if you're not intending to shoot, well, I would have shot you by now. If you're pointing a gun at me, and I see you pointing a gun at me, I'm going to pull out my gun, and I'm going to shoot you. And I promise you, I'm not going to miss. And I'm not just going to sit there and point it at you in some way that says, hey, do what I want at gunpoint. No. If I'm pulling my gun, I've already made the decision to kill you. That's the difference between me and you. Well, maybe not me and you personally, but the ignorant amongst us. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article, but it goes into... She's being called a capital Karen in my circle. This is capital Karen, and you can see her husband's got a rifle. Again, this is insane that you would see this. At this point, I would have already shot her. Personally speaking, I would have already shot her. And I would have already shot him. So, if you're bringing a gun to what is on the surface here, a peaceful protest, and you start waving it at protesters, if I'm in that protest, I'm going to shoot you. There's a reason why we have the First Amendment, which is protected by the Second Amendment. And if we don't use the Second Amendment, we put ourselves in positions like this where somebody else uses their Second Amendment to stop your First Amendment. And what kind of faggot holds a fucking rifle like this? I mean, honestly. Like I said, if you did that to a United States Marine Corps combat veteran, they would be shooting you. I promise you. They would not just be letting you willy-nilly waving a gun in public. That's insane. That's insane. Let's see here. This is as they marched towards they were standing outside their large home. Okay, so, but just for the record, though, you're standing on your property. That's fine. I'm okay with you standing on your property. Don't get me wrong, property rights all day long. But you're pointing a fucking gun at people. You're pointing a fucking gun at people. You're brandishing and you're pointing it at them. It's one thing to say, hey, I think that, you know, I mean, they're on the public square. But this is a threat. And again, I don't care if you're on your fucking property or not. If you're pointing a fucking gun at me and I'm on public property, I'm most likely gonna shoot you. As soon as you point it at anybody else. I'm not gonna give you the opportunity to just pluck people off that are standing on a public way. And now if this crowd was trying to break into your home and this crowd was, you know, destroying your property, I'd probably be shooting them with you. See, that's the difference. Like, and again, if they were trying to harm you and your property, I would be the one sitting there using my gun to defend your property. But these are otherwise peaceful protesters, and you're pointing a rifle and a gun at them. And it looks extremely racist, capital Karen. So, it's just straight up racist. It happened in Missouri, and I'm sure that, and President Trump, and this is kind of going into the Donald Trump slump that's happening. It's clear as day. Donald Trump retweeted this video in the incident. He retweeted it. And let's see here. I don't know what his actual response was on it. Oh, yeah, we got the Trump tweet right here. Yep. So he retweeted it. All he did was retweet it. And again, they're just like, the protesters are like, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. If you point a gun at me, I don't give a fuck if you're on your own property. If you point a gun at me, I'm going to shoot you. Treat, never, keep. Do not point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot is literally embedded in my brain. So when I see this, well, yes, you have a right to keep and bear arms. You don't have a right to just point it at people that are protesting walking by. This is an overreaction by you that is insane. Now, again, if they were trying to break into your property and damage it or put your life at risk, I would shoot them for you. And I wouldn't say nothing, but you're just pointing guns at peaceful protesters. So it's just insane that we, again, live in a country filled with stupid morons. You know? I mean, this is just irresponsibility. I promise you, the first time somebody points a gun at me, I'm shooting them. End of discussion. There is no photo op. It's, what happened? CJ saw people pointing a gun at him and other people, so he shot them. The photo op is 2 dead people in their driveway. That's the photo op, and let's see if Donald Trump would retweet that. Never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot.
Senator who drafted the Senate bill on police reform, South Carolina Republican Senator Tim Scott. Good morning. Good to see you, Senator.
Good morning, John. I hope you're doing well.
We're doing all right. I want to ask you about this national moment that's testing all of us. Protests in the street like we haven't seen since the 1960s. I'd like to ask you what I asked the Vice President. What do you hear in the voices of those protesters?
Well, I hear from the nonviolent protesters, what we hear consistently is this frustration that was ignited by 8 minutes and 46 seconds of George Floyd pleading for his life, saying he could not breathe, and then at the end, asking for his mother. What I hear is a concern and a frustration that I have felt as a person who's been stopped by law enforcement 18 times in the last couple decades, including this year. What I hear in the protesters is enough already. Let's get to the table and get something done. And what I hear from the protesters is this is our country. We want our voices to be heard in this country. And what I did, because I heard and have felt the frustration of the protesters myself, is I drafted legislation that said, we see you, we hear you, and let's move together forward. This is a very interesting and important moment. Interesting in that the country's response, John, has been amazing. White folks and black folks, brown ones and yellow ones, have come together in the streets of our cities to say, we want to be a unified country. I say thank you and God bless them.
In the moment of
This is the same guy that wants to not have qualified immunity. So it just finds it really stupid. I'm not going to listen to this guy anymore further. If you guys want to find this guy's words, I guess we'll go to one part of this that is kind of relevant to the whole concept of today, and that's Alright, so as the story goes, the great Twitter commander-in-chief, actually shared that and actually deleted that tweet after realizing that he was sharing a video that was saying white power. So yes, the president can delete Twitter and think that people aren't going to screen record every time his brain noodle hits tweet, tweet, tweet. And yes, the internet remembers. But these old geriatric fucks don't understand how the internet works, so what can you do? And as a result, even on Donald Trump's home turf of Fox News, rough polling stretch has GOP operatives asking, could Donald Trump drop out? Some GOP operatives are wondering if the president could drop out of the presidential race if his poll numbers don't improve. A stretch of lackluster polling for President Trump has some Republican operatives nervous about the president's re-election prospects in November, with some even floating the possibility for the first time that Trump could drop out if his poll numbers don't rebound, saying, quote, it's too early, but if the polls continue to worsen, you can see a scenario where he drops out. One GOP operative who asked to remain anonymous told Fox News, saying, quote, I've heard the talk, but I doubt it's true. Another said, my bet is he drops if he believes there's no way to win. So even in Donald Trump's own home turf of Fox News, and they've hit him hard the last, at least week and a half or so, they've hit him pretty hard. But as I would be remiss to say, isn't that just a global elite dark pedophile cabal just saying, well, we want the kid sniffer Joe Biden? Because, and that just lends more gravity to the Q theory. I fucking hate this mask. I'm giving it about 2 more minutes because that'll be 1 hour. And we did our experiment. So, this is where it leads to, though. Anti-Trump Republican groups' new ad slams president over coronavirus deaths hitting the, quote, greatest generation. Now, this one comes from CNN, so admittedly, the initial Trumpophile response is fake news. And you just go, yeah, well, you know what? Your own Fox News, your home turf just said his numbers are slumping. They have an anti
George Conway, of course, the husband of Kellyanne
commercial.
Conway, the president's counselor. They had put a video up on Twitter last night, and the president didn't like it. A little bit of the video.
There's mourning in America, and under the leadership.
Damn, they got the inverted flag up in this.
The president didn't like it. A little bit of the video.
I wonder why.
There's mourning in America, and under the leadership.
Oh,
of
the
Donald
Lincoln
Trump,
Project on it again.
Our country is weaker and sicker and poorer.
That's a piece of the video. This
is it not? Is my mic not working? Have I just been talking here without my mic working? Really? And nobody tells me in the comments? Oh, no, it's working. Why is my mic not working in certain... Wait, is it not working now? Shit. I don't know which way it's working. I guess I gotta go back and check. See, and then you can't see my mouth moving. Okay, you can see it there. You can't see it there. I don't get what's going on. All right, so real quick, I don't know if you could or couldn't hear me in that, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you, Mercedes, for letting me know that. Good morning to you as well. Thank you, Tiffany. You should do your whole broadcast in the Trump voice. Mike works. All right, appreciate that, OD Dub. I just think that at the end of the day, the so-called Lincoln Project is a disgrace to Honest Abe. I don't know why. I don't know what Kellyanne did to her deranged loser of a husband. And listen, if you're Donald Trump could very well be a one-term president. Now, in my opinion, I don't think we need a pedophile or a kid sniffer or any of that. We need Jo Jorgensen. End of discussion. It's not because she's a woman. It's just because she's the best qualified to be president of the United States right now, because America needs a therapist. Not a rapist, not a pedophile, not a deep stater. None of this shit. We need Dr. Jo Jorgensen. End of discussion. You're literally attacked the husband there's nobody that the Republicans won't slit the throat of. Okay, with that being said, it's been 1 hour since I put this mask on. It has been fucking annoying. I will never wear this thing. It's going to take a lot of fucking me wanting to get somewhere to have to wear this fucking thing again. All right, here's the final test for 1 hour of wearing a mask nonstop while doing what I do. 98, 95. I'm about the same levels, if not more. 98. I'm a little higher. Than I was when I started. 96, 92, 98, 97. Look at me touching my face immediately after with hands. Like, masks are ineffective and useless. And again, if you want me to wear a mask in public, there is only one mask that I consent to wearing. And make no mistake about it. Ew, did I get a booger on my cheek? Ew. For the rest of time. All right. So this is the only mask I consent to wearing in public. It's cloth. It'll stop my spittle, as you all worry about. And that is literally the only mask I consent to be to wear in public. Now, with that being said, we've got an interesting story here, and we're going to go continuing on with the last story of the day here with the Russian plot. Now, a lot of people don't realize that, and Donald Trump discredits this. He says straight up that this is a fake news, and we'll get there.
Minneapolis police officers charged in the death of George Floyd.
Oh, wait a minute. Real quick, we got to do this update real quick. I forgot this video here.
Are set to make their second court appearance today. Jamie Yukas is in Minneapolis with more on
Turning to you too, Gail. We know that all 4 former Minneapolis police officers are expected to appear before the court today, including Derek Chauvin. Chauvin, whose charges include unintentional second-degree murder, is expected to appear virtually. The 3 other former officers are expected to appear in person. Since Floyd's death, there have been calls around the country for police reform. On Friday, the Minneapolis City Council members unanimously voted to advance the proposal that could replace the police department. That vote coming after police recorded more than 100 people shot since the death of George Floyd, including at least 7 who were killed. I spoke with City Council member Jeremiah Ellison.
When you're talking about dismantling the police department, you're not saying that police officers are just going to go away.
Absolutely, and certainly not right away. We're trying to provide a level of safety that we feel like our current public safety system doesn't currently provide.
So you actually see the uptick in shootings and in violent crime as evidence as to why there needs to be reform?
Absolutely, I would. When people lose confidence in the public safety system, in the police, violence tends to increase after that.
The vote is just the first step in a process to get it on the November ballot. The police union opposes it and says the potential amendment fails to answer questions about what actually will replace the department. Anthony?
Jamie.
That I knew my mic was off. Sorry. Aubrey here needed a little help. So that is a very interesting thing that we had there. That was something that I misplaced in my tabs there to cover there in the middle of my Minneapolis story there. But before I guess I get to the what is unit 29155, I was being joined backstage. But to get into the meat and potatoes of it, it starts with a story from the Times. It says, spies and commandos warned months ago of Russian bounties on U.S. troops, the recovery of large amounts of American cash at a Taliban outpost in Afghanistan helped tip off U.S. officials. It is believed that at least 1 U.S. troop death was the result of the bounties. Yeah. That is something else. Don't you think? Don't you think that is definitely an act of war? Interesting. So what is this unit 29155? We'll have to wait until tomorrow to get into that. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, running from the great state of Nebraska for her local Senate is a lady that I had a great pleasure talking with this weekend and have invited her back whenever she clicks the link. Ladies and gentlemen, Mercedes, how are you doing this morning?
I'm well. I want my sign in the picture today.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Get that sign in. I mean, that's free advertising for sure.
I don't know how to internet.
What's that?
I don't know how to. Hold on, I'm getting to cut. Okay.
And so, how are you doing today, there, Mercedes?
Oh, well, I wasn't going to join you because it's Mental Health Monday.
Okay.
But then I started talking about Russia and Trump.
Ah, yes.
And those are my two favorite conspiracy theory topics.
Okay, so why don't you tell us about Russia and Trump, Mercedes?
Oh, my Lord. So first and foremost, this has a long history between me and Trump in Russia. So in 2016, I was in a bar on election night watching Hillary and Trump decide who was going to destroy our nation. And before this, I had already talked about getting into politics because I saw what was going on. I saw that the choices we had meant that we were fucked. And I wasn't the only one who saw that. So I started telling people I'm going to have to end up running for Senate for our state because these choices that we're going to make are going to affect us directly, whether you believe it or not. And here I am now running for Nebraska state legislature because history is repeating itself. Russia. So I remember because I pay attention, and I've only met a few people that also are on our level of paying attention. And then I've found the Libertarian Party. And
yes, and you think you are the libertarian of libertarianism until you get to the party, and you're like, well, shit. I didn't know that there were many like me.
Look at this. I found my family. Crazy as it is, we all believe that the feds are bad. So I remember Obama talking before the election about Russia interfering with our election process. And then I also distinctly remember the Fed boys shutting him up on live TV about it and telling him not to get very in deep about it. I remember that. That's when I started paying attention for real. Okay, so we've known that Russia and China both have invested interests in our country because we are the greatest power on the world and we are a threat to them. Yeah, we're not anymore. We were until Obama took out trillions of dollars in loans from China and now they own us, but that's another story.
The simpler times back then. Simpler.
I remember when corn was $7 a bushel.
Now, let me ask you this. So, taking aside the conspiracies, the things that that you hear,
there's just an undeniable truths that are not being admitted here when it comes to our U.S. military and foreign affairs, and it looks like he's setting us up just to fail. I fully believe that Russia had bounties out on American soldiers because they have bounties out on all soldiers. They want to take everybody out.
All right. Well, here's an example. Trump denies being briefed on the Russian bounty intelligence.
So did he not get briefed, or does he just not remember that he got briefed?
Sorry. He denies he was briefed on it.
So does he just not remember?
He said he denied a briefing about intelligence that Russians had ties to bribe Taliban fighters to kill U.S. troops. And that's again, fake news CNN. But when you pair that with another story that says, and this is where, again, I go back to, you don't think that I put these two headlines together for a reason, because spies and commandos warned months ago of Russian bounties on U.S. troops, and it says it helped tip off U.S. officials. And you don't think that U.S. officials went up to the chain of command and said, hey, we've got proof of a bounty program between Russia and the Taliban where at least one troop has been killed as a result of it. And then you go, so they just kept that a secret from him so they can get the headline, Trump denies Russian bounty intelligence.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, we have people not taking responsibility for their own actions. It's like a Benghazi.
It's Trump. Are you really going to go with CNN? This is Trump's Benghazi.
No, I saw that and I thought it was funny because it's worse than that. So it needs its own name.
This is Trump's denial of a bounty program. I mean, it's its own insane thing. And you go, well, at some point, what are we going to do when it's obvious that Trump is just doing things that are clearly in the least interest of this country and its people? I mean, Congress to be briefed on Russian bounties plots as Trump denies knowledge. This is from The Guardian.
And you did share that Fox News is floating the idea that Trump's going to drop out, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was you.
And then he's attacking Kellyanne Conway's husband, loser.
I follow him on Twitter. Like, I only am on Twitter so I can follow the president and her husband.
Yeah, so check this out. Let me ask you this. Tell me where the fallacy is in this statement. Trump, I was not told about the plot because it was not credible.
Yeah, now, I've been watching these Congress briefings. They're already on him for the COVID and everything else too. They're coming at him on all different sides right now.
At least one U.S. troop death as a result of bounties tipped off U.S. officials because money in Afghanistan. And you're telling me the president is like, nope, didn't hear about it. Nope, it wasn't credible.
Here's a libertarian idea. Let's end foreign wars. All wars. Let's end all wars.
You know, being a guy that's been to 2 of them, I don't think it's as easy as just ending foreign wars.
Well, and that's just it that people don't get into, and that it upsets me because thank you for your service, by the way, even though it was. I'll reserve those opinions for later.
No. Let me say them for you. Even though I was a security guard for oil and pharmaceutical contracts.
Yes. Okay. So all my friends went to war without me because I have asthma. I signed up for the Air Force. I wanted to be a plane mechanic. That's why I'm a welder. And I was told no because I wasn't perfect enough for them. And that's what started my relationship with the hate of the government. Because I'm not good enough to work on your planes, but I'm good enough to pay your taxes. Okay, fine.
No, get in line, equity slave.
So, but all my friends came back from war, going off thinking that they were going to be freedom fighters for America because that's what we are told here. We are conditioned to believe that we are fighting for our freedoms, and then we get there and we're killing people for no reason. And then they come back and they don't want you to talk about it, and then they don't give you mental health support, and then you have to wait months to get into the VA, and then you're popping pills because everything hurts and no one's taking care of you. Nobody wants to take care of you, and then I speak out about it, and I get told that I hate soldiers and cops because I'm talking bad about the government. Those veterans deserve more than me talking about that like that.
Just for the record, I would take you saying all of that any day over a bunch of idiots that are telling you the opposite.
The VFW, I have people that work down there that are very mad at me right now because I called out racist people in the military that go to war just to kill people. And then come back and say, I want to go back because I like killing them.
Right. So,
Sand,
yeah.
Owl.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling out. So these people that are triggered by it, like, I can't help you and I can't help the government because I am not the government. You can't help the government.
I was at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, the night that Barack Obama was elected president of the United States of America. And I was the only person watching in the little rec room that we had, caring about who the next president is. And I'll never forget it. That when we all found out who it was, there was a drunk sergeant that came out, and I'm gonna just try to censor myself here for all family intents and purpose reasons. But he said, "I don't work for no dumb," and you get the point. And it made me go, well, that's racist. Yeah, no, I hear you. You can mute it, but that's racist. And it just made me go. Makes me wonder how many other people are feeling that same way. And they went UA, and they didn't come back that weekend, and they were like they stuck to it. And then when they did get in trouble and brought back, they spread their racism in the smoke pits, and I was just like, well, shit, this is not bueno.
Mm-hmm. And to add to that, so I've been protesting here in my town, not because I hate cops and I think we should defund the military or the police, because I don't think we should defund the police. That's just crazy talk.
Whoa! That's the least libertarian thing I've heard you say.
I don't think we should defund the police because our society is not at the point in which we can safely do so. Because in order to uphold the NAP, we need to be able to promote peace, and we cannot do that with the mental health problems in society today. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Interesting there that you would go that route and say that the answer is to not abolish police,
We need to de-escalate. We can't just pull it out. Like we learned in the Middle East that if you eliminate one terrorist organization, another one's going to pop right back up and take its place because you destabilize the region. If we defund police, that is equivalent to removing a terrorist organization as it stands.
So wait, your idea is it's better to live under this hostile regime than to what might replace it?
No, my solution is to continue protesting to get city attention, because here's what's happening in my town. We're protesting because we are not racist here, we are classist. So our low income and minorities are very disenfranchised by the system because they criminalize drugs. In order to eliminate the police system, we need to eliminate the system in which they police. So we can't just defund the police, we need to change criminal justice. So we need criminal justice reform, we need mental health support, we need different areas and plans. You can't just
So imagine like this: you're married to this police force idea, and this police force comes home and it beats the shit out of you every night. It does very vile, disgusting things to you, and your answer is to ask it to stop beating us less.
Well, not so much asking as making them go to therapy about it. And then taking their job away, because if you're violent, you shouldn't be in that position. So that means that we have to reform the police departments, which means that unless we fire everybody and rehire and retrain, we have to look at how they're being trained now and implement different kind of training. So our local PD has had problems in profiling. And there have been videos of cops being rough with people of color in our town a couple years ago. We had an entire leadership change in our police force, and we reintroduced different trainings. With the training comes policy change. So if you have somebody that beats their wife and has multiple complaints on them and is known to rough up suspects, that you should probably fire them.
You would think. I'm gonna grab another cup of coffee. The floor is yours, but you know, the thing is, Mercedes, is I go, why are we sitting here going, okay, well, our domestic abuser that we can prove day in, day out is violating our rights and as people. And again, what do you think cop therapy looks like when, in all honesty, they're fighting to keep, like, imagine if you as a spouse, if your husband comes home and God forbid beats the shit out of you, what's your recourse?
So I've actually been in several abusive relationships. I left when I lived in Niobrara, Nebraska. I left my then fiance because he pointed a gun at me.
Oh, why didn't you shoot him back?
Because I left him and left the business in the house, and then he was miserable for years. And that's much better than shooting him back.
Well, I don't know if he's willing to point a gun at you and shoot you. I mean,
he has Crohn's disease. Karma's taking care of it. It's fine.
All right. So, but
so my point is, in our police force, we have violent officers that have been removed recently because we changed our standards within the force. They started policing themselves. The police are policing themselves in our community.
Is there a quota? Like, hey, statistically, we know that 4 out of 20 of you are pieces of shit.
No, it's more like, your wife told my wife that you got rough with her the other night, and if that shit happens again, you lose your job, and we're gonna kick the shit out of you.
Why not he just lose his job? But,
you know, yeah.
But hang on, I advocate for his due process. Why not allow due process in that case and go?
And that's just it. So if we have
because if my fiance tells her sister that I beat the shit out of her, I promise you the sheriff's at my door taking my gun.
So we have in our community as well, we have a safe center, which is a battered women and domestic assault shelter. It's not just for women. Men use it too.
Yeah, I was going to say, where's the men at that?
Yeah, no, men use it too. No, it's oh my God. Yes, it's all about men because women hit men too. Women are abusive too. And there's not enough women that say that. And I'll come on here and say that all day long. Thank you. I will. I'll give credit. So we have a battered spouse shelter and safe houses here in town. And our police force is very good at de-escalating domestic assault situations. And that has transferred into their own community because these members, like I just found out in my community, yeah, there is no do it again system. Basically, like what they had been doing is strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, you're out. Now they're doing strike 1, training, you don't get another chance after the training, you're done. It needs to be if you do it, you're done. We're not there yet.
So, but no, you're literally. So again, I'm going to use domestic violence as the.
But that's what I mean is
the crux of this.
So I'm not saying that you can't. Domestic abuse and assault is complicated because it's a mental health issue. So
you just said it's a mental health issue for cops too.
It is. It's all a mental health issue.
This is why I'm able to, by proxy, compare the two in this argument.
Yes, because if you are a violent cop, you're beating your wife too, and you're in that position because
allegedly.
I'm sorry, that black eye came because I fell on the pool table, officer.
Yeah, no, and I'll see you at the picnic where I'll lie to you some more. And you know, the thing is that I agree with what Tiffany had said that they can't just be we walked in on you beating your wife. Well, we're gonna train you.
No.
And if you do it again, then you're out.
No, and that's where we're at right now, though. In the system, they're not even doing slap on the wrist, don't do it again. They're doing
the same cop that's allegedly in this case beating his wife is the same guy. Well, that and he's or not. Well, you never. I mean, I don't know their marriage relationship.
Well, no, and that's just it. She filed for divorce and a protection order while he was in jail.
Oh, lovely. So that's obviously when you murder a man, but I mean, there's a whole conspiracy around that. I mean, they're rival drug people, and they like
Freemasons. They're Freemasons.
Yes, 64. They're 32-degree level Masons just fighting each other out in their respective drug cartels. That's the big internet conspiracy. But again, back to the bigger picture at hand is that I go, okay, so what we're doing right now is allowing people that are in a sense being the aggressors, the agitators, to violate us once and then say, okay, well, shame on you, go back and get training, and then giving them the opportunity. You see how that's like
no, and I was talking to this with a gentleman at the protest because we were talking about ending qualified immunity and de-escalating police brutality and all of these topics, and he's like, you can't take that hate out of someone's heart, so what do you do when training fails? I told him set them on fire. That's against NAP. so I said, you remove them from the position and you enter them into, I hate to say this, but you need to get them help. You need to figure out why they are being violent. Just like we have anger management for
Okay, Mercedes. I'm gonna push an idea towards you.
Okay, bring it.
All right. And tell me what you think. So what do you think about guillotines?
I know that you can build one with the refund check that they gave you.
Right. Now, what do you believe about public guillotines?
I myself personally don't want to see a public education, and I believe that there are rehabilitation.
Public education or a public guillotine?
Both.
Because it would be both. It would be both.
Okay, so being a libertarian and following the NAP, I don't believe violence is the answer unless you are in mortal danger.
Oh, okay.
But I really like the French.
Right, but what I'm saying is okay, so if we need a teachable moment here, what better way than the Bastille to say, hey...
Well, did it work for ISIS when they were just beheading their hostages?
Well, they weren't... Right. Well,
it wasn't a guillotine, but it was the same process.
No. They were trying to act as a government. We are people
acting
as the government, in the sense saying, we're only using this for government employees, not public civilians. If you're a public employee getting paid on taxpayers and you violate the constitutional rights of another person, you're going to lose your head, and it's treason. Yes, thank you.
As a candidate, would you feel comfortable with your constituents cutting off your head if you betray them? Because I would be.
I betrayed my oath, and I'm sitting there taking cash out of cash, and then I'm writing laws where police openly discriminate and harm and victimize people in my community, then yeah, I would, as an outside unbiased perspective, I'm going to go, yeah, who's the guy running this shit show allowing police to do this shit? Take his fucking head off.
Yep. If I ever betrayed my constitution and my country for money or political gain because of a foreign nation to help them take my country, just go ahead and suicide me then with a guillotine.
And that's what I'm saying is, I mean, we have an unofficial guillotine caucus. There's already 5 founding members. And we're organizing it, and we're developing that guillotine principle around the non-aggression principle. And so I asked that because at some point something's got to give. The answer, whether it's a guillotine or therapy, you see how I'm tying this up into a bow?
But
it needs to end.
I've been telling people, I don't care how you break the cycle, break the cycle.
Well, okay, Joshua Smith.
I met Josh Smith, and I will reserve my comments because we were in a tequila bar.
At least that's fair. You know, what happens in a tequila bar is a tequila bar.
I think Joe Jorgensen was there too. She might have dropped off at that point. It was for the Nebraska convention that we had before the world turned upside down.
Where were you when the world stopped turning?
Where was I?
In that January day. I'm gonna rewrite that song for coronavirus. But
oh my God,
you know, Mercedes, one of the things that I've also appreciated about you is I just happened to tune into one of your 4 or 5 videos you tried to do yesterday.
Oh my God, that was
and
stupid.
I like how you broke down the distress flag.
Yes.
And
so I saw that, and that's why I'm like, I gotta get in on this now. My flag's on TV. It's not mine, but
well, see, but that's the thing. I fly my flag inverted as well.
Yes.
And I have been flying it inverted since 2016. Yep. And in fact, I would go as far as say I don't even fly it right now. I just inverted or not.
I don't have my flag right now. I left it at the protest inverted, and they took it home with them when they left.
And you know, the thing is that it makes me go. Okay, so if it's not guillotine and it's not therapy, there's a middle ground in there. And I think that middle ground is qualified immunity. And saying that if this side over here doesn't get to just kill this side over here with immunity. And that blue line in the sand, it's not to separate this group of people from that group of people where this group gets to murder and get away with it. Because when we kill cops as people, what happens to us?
Yeah, and that's just it, though. Are we killing cops out of self-defense?
Well, the Supreme Court's already ruled that killing a cop out of self-defense is protected right.
There you go. So
and you need to know that right, or they're going to crucify you. Yeah. And you need to have proof of that right.
So at this point, then, when it comes to qualified immunity in police force, because we touch training, mental health services, and all that, we do have to have a quality change. We can't eliminate qualified immunity right now, but we can change the way it works.
Okay, so yes, we can eliminate qualified immunity. We can vote for Dr. Joe Jorgensen.
Oh God, now, I just want to watch it burn.
We all do at this point. Now here's my thought though, because I asked this question and it's controversial, but you sit there and you go, okay, so we've got a government. And that government is allegedly created by, for, and of we the people. There's the people that are out there like, oh no, I'm proud to be American, or at least I know I'm free. They have this delusions of grandeur in the flag and a special song, and the cognitive two-party system that keeps them in their plantation politic. It makes you go, okay, so if it's not guillotine, if it's not therapy, if we can't end qualified immunity, why are we looking to our abusers? Why are we looking to government for the answer when clearly there is no way that your domestic abuser who's getting warning after warning is going to take you serious until there's that moment. So what is the moment? Because and it's going to be, like I'm saying, I'm trying to preface this so much because I know it's going to get taken out of context. For example, I showed the video of law enforcement driving into protesters. And I made this statement saying, if that was me and I was standing there in a protest mass of people peacefully assembled in protest, and a cop just drives into our protest, I'm going to shoot that cop because he's risking many people's lives. Now, what's going to happen to me?
You're going to go to jail or be killed there.
No, because I'm surrounded by at least more than 12 people who will all witness for me that he was risking life and limb of other people, and that what I did was in self-defense of other people. And that's what you call jury nullification. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm saying that, there's got to be a line of self-defense argument. And I think that that's the one I'm trying to make, is that we have a line where we can say, okay, you can police up to here, but past that, your life is on the line too.
Sorry, my toddler's climbing around, and I needed to save her.
You're good. We all. I've got a little one running around too, getting dressed, ready to play Minecraft. So
yeah, mine's not old enough for that. She turns 2 in August, and she's here. Let me.
Yeah, I watched you brushing her hair yesterday. Yeah, you're right. She is a ginger baby.
So yeah, the flag.
You call her your little gingerbread cookie?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
My little ginger snap.
There you go.
So yeah, back to the flag though. Like, people watching this don't know what we're talking about, but my grandpa, I told him because he was at wit's end, because he's a Vietnam vet. He joined the military because he didn't want to be drafted. That's exactly how that went.
Fair enough.
He didn't want to get drafted, so he joined.
Cadet Bone Spurs was like, no, my feet hurt.
Yeah. Well, and he went as a mechanic, and he told me that is what saved his life in Vietnam. He was a mechanic. He only had to take cover once in the foxhole. He had a relatively decent time in Vietnam. And his brother even had kids over there and came back, so that's fun for him.
That's what happens when you have an occupied war for that long.
My Uncle Norman was the coolest person ever. He's buried at Fort McFadden now. He was the coolest vet I ever had met. He was born the day Pearl Harbor was bombed. The day.
Wow.
It was bombed. So anyway, my grandpa has a flag. He's a proud veteran. He mends his flag. I've taken more pictures of my grandpa sewing his flag than is probably healthy. And he was just exasperated at what's going on right now, and he was, before it actually happened, convinced that armored trucks were going to roll down residential streets in America and enforce martial law. I'm like, Grandpa, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
It's happening today.
My grandpa has been telling me, I told you so much. It is ridiculous. Okay. My elder, it was right. I told him, hang your flag upside down. You know the flag code. You know, if we are in distress and we need help, you hang it upside down. And that is a formal form of protest. And it's the only thing we can do right now. And then
it's not the only thing, but it is one thing.
It's only thing he can do right now.
Well,
because he's taking care of Grandma full time, because she is a casualty of the opioid epidemic in America. So he had a gentleman actually stop by and threaten to call the cops on him because what he was doing was illegal.
What?
Yep, he took his flag down because somebody stopped by because his flag was upside down, and he said it was illegal and that it was against flag code, and that he was a veteran and he needed to take it down right now or else he was going to call the cops.
That's not illegal.
Yeah, I know.
So when I go to people, this is where a lot of Trumpophiles, they don't understand what actual disrespect towards the flag is. So where you can find these codes is under 4 U.S.C. Section 8, respect for the flag, and that one happens to fall under the very first flag code that says the flag should never be displayed with the Union down except as a sign of dire distress in instances of extreme danger to life or property.
God, that makes me tear up.
Yeah, well, here's the one that the NFL morons don't get. The flag should never be carried flat or horizontal, but always aloft and free. And you see them pulling that flag out while they're singing the national anthem going, you guys don't even know that violates flag code right there. But you get mad at Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee, where kneeling is not anywhere in this at all.
That's literally him kneeling during the national anthem is literally the most American thing you can do in protest to your country. And people got mad instead of understanding why he was doing it. And that is why we're at where we are as a country, because people don't take time to listen and understand. And you and I are perfect examples of this. We don't believe much of the same of anything, except that the government's bad.
I don't know. I've found myself going, well, she's not wrong there. I mean,
same with me, and that's what I mean. We know how to communicate. We are the way. Also, I really need to find my American flag bikini and start protesting in it.
Is it going to be inverted?
No.
Well,
I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at. It disappeared when I got pregnant.
Time for upgrade. But and that's the thing. I've said this before. I would give somebody $100 cash money transfer to your PayPal account if you can show me in the title code where kneeling for the national anthem is actually under the recognized signs for disrespect for the flag. But every time you come at me as an NFL fan, I go to your page and I see, oh, you like the Patriots, and you can't explain Section C to me. You owe me $100. So,
oh my God, can we make that a fundraising effort for the Libertarian Party? Can you recite one flag code rule?
can you even
Do you even know what the flag code is?
Can you even tell me which USC code and which section, and then let alone what subsection it says that kneeling for the national anthem is a disrespectful act to the flag? I mean, yes, I understand it hurts your Trumpophile feelings.
I'm sorry, your snowflake feelings.
I'm sorry you are triggered to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, my magic skycloth and my special song, how dare you? But none of that is actually in the sign for disrespect, and it blows my mind that they I mean, I've heard all of it's in there somewhere, you're just not seeing it, CJ. Like, and that's where I came up with, if you find it in the flag code, I will give you $100. If it's not there, you owe me $100.
And a cup of coffee.
Well, the cup of coffee comes with the $100. It resupplies me. So, but all right. Well, Mercedes, you are just a pleasure to have on. The conversation is great.
I miss my coffee, guys. That's what this is.
Well,
I waited tables. I miss my coffee, guys.
What? You're not a coffee drinker?
I got in trouble with myself because I was drinking about 2.5 pots a day.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's really not good.
And remember, moderation is the key to success.
I just want all the freedoms all the time.
No. I don't care. As a libertarian, I don't care what you put in your body or how much of it you want to put in there. But at the end of the day, for health reasons, I wouldn't suggest drinking 2.5 pots of coffee a day.
But Freedom Juice makes me go wee, and it's Black Rifle coffee.
And as somebody admittedly said, you like to talk. So
do I?
Well, I mean, I think you're great at conversationalist.
Teasing you.
No, you're a great conversationalist, and I think that, like myself, I see the humor that you try to bring to it from your perspective. But then it's the same thing. It's almost like I call it my inner vermin supreme.
Yes.
Where I'm like, you know what? I think we should all have recreational nuclear warheads. I think we'd be a lot safer if we all had nuclear warheads.
I mean, I wasn't taught how to make nuclear warheads in high school in my advanced science class or anything.
Right, but no, not at all. But what I'm saying is we'd all be a lot safer if we had nuclear warheads. If we issued machine guns to babies at birth. These are all things that you go, well, how could you really implement that, CJ?
I'm not going to say that my daughter does or does not have an AR, but she might.
Well, yeah, but her parents are the custodian of it until she is of an age where it would be required.
It's too big for the baby.
Right, and I always say, if you think a baby can take apart and fully handle a 50 caliber machine gun, you are an idiot. But, it triggers certain people, but it sounds like mommy duty.
She's mad at me because I told her no.
Oh no.
She's a little anarchist in the training and the reason.
Yeah. Well, Mercedes, I'm gonna let you get to mom duty. I gotta get to Adam versus the man, but I appreciate your time today. Please.
Thanks for letting me on.
Anytime, Mercedes. Let me wait before you go. Let everybody know your website one more time.
Okay, it's votemercedes.com. It's very pretty. Yeah, there's me. It's cool. It has the Libertarian platform linked to it, so you can go read that. It has some of my own thoughts on it, but not a lot because, America. And then you can find me on Vote Mercedes 2020 on Facebook.
Awesome. Mercedes, as always, a pleasure. Come back anytime.
Thank you, CJ. Have a great day.
You too. We'll see you guys next time on Internet Warlords. Wait, no, this isn't Internet Warlords. Man, I did an Internet Warlords broadcast last night. Biffing my own ending to my own show. As always, again, a pleasure to have Mercedes on. If you guys want to find me, again, you can find me at CJ Abernathy for District 23 Senate. You can find me here where you're watching me there. You can find me on internetwarlords.com, patreon.com/Internet Warlords. And this has been the war for the internet, whether it is coffee and a conversation. So Have a good day or don't. The choice is always yours.
Welcome to Coffee and a Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District